God has seen what they did to you, now the consequences begin. Before another breath passes, understand this: nothing that was done to you escaped heaven's sight. Not the whispers behind your back. Not the silent sabotage. Not the betrayal that smiled while holding the knife. You were watched more closely than you realize, and so were they. This moment did not arrive by accident. It arrived because a line was crossed, and justice has now been released. You may have wondered why you were asked to stay quiet when you wanted to defend yourself. Why your spirit was urged to remain still while lies spread unchecked. That restraint was not weakness. It was strategy. While you endured, evidence was gathered in the unseen realm. Every intention was weighed. Every motive exposed. And now, what was hidden is being pulled into the light with force. Hear this clearly: God did not misunderstand your pain. Heaven did not misread the situation. What felt like delay was precision. What felt like abandonment was protection. You were being shielded while the trap they set for you was being rewired, so it would snap shut on their own steps instead. Something has shifted. You may feel it as a tightening in the air, a restlessness you can't explain, a sense that conversations are about to happen without your permission. That's because truth is becoming loud. Doors that were closed to you are opening elsewhere, and doors they relied on are quietly locking behind them. This is not coincidence. This is consequence. They thought time would erase what they did. They assumed silence meant victory. But silence was never agreement. It was heaven waiting for the right moment to speak. And now that moment is here. Exposure is beginning in subtle ways first: confusion in their plans, cracks in their alliances, discomfort where there used to be confidence. Watch closely. Patterns are about to repeat until lessons are learned. You are not being called to celebrate their fall. You are being called to stand steady while God handles what you could not. Keep your heart clean. Keep your mouth guarded. Your elevation depends on how you walk through this phase. Vengeance was never yours to carry, it was always God's responsibility, and it has been fully accepted. Right now, forces are moving to restore what was delayed. Favor is circling back. Opportunities are aligning with uncanny timing. People who dismissed you are about to remember your name for reasons they didn't expect. This is the beginning of reversal, where the weight you carried is transferred back to where it belongs. Stay present. Stay grounded. If this message resonates, let it anchor you, return to it, reflect on it, let it strengthen you. Those who walk with divine truth recognize moments like this. And if you feel led, stay connected, because what unfolds next will explain why this had to happen exactly this way. Because what God is about to reveal next will not only expose what they did, but will shock you with how perfectly it all turns in your favor. Listen carefully, because what unfolds now explains why the pressure increased before the release came. When heaven prepares consequence, it also prepares separation. This is the phase where lines are drawn, not by you, but by truth itself. People are being sorted, intentions are being revealed, and loyalty is being tested without warning. Some will fail those tests spectacularly. Others will surprise you. Do not interfere with this process. What is happening now cannot be rushed, corrected, or softened. You may notice that certain individuals are becoming unusually uncomfortable around you. They speak nervously. They avoid eye contact. They change their tone when your name is mentioned. This is not guilt alone, it is recognition. Deep within them, something knows that accountability is approaching. Conscience is awakening where arrogance once lived. And for those who silence that voice too long, fear is taking its place. Understand this: consequences do not always arrive as punishment first. Often, they arrive as exposure. God allows people to reveal themselves completely before action is taken, so there is no confusion, no argument, no escape. What they are saying now, what they are doing now, how they are reacting now, this is all being recorded in the unseen. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is overlooked. You may feel tempted to finally speak your side, to correct the narrative, to defend your name. But restraint is still required, for just a little longer. Silence in this hour is not submission. It is alignment. The more you stay still, the louder the truth becomes on your behalf. The more you refuse to react, the more they expose themselves trying to control what no longer belongs to them. There is also something else happening that you may not yet see. Connections are being severed behind closed doors. Support they once relied on is quietly withdrawing. Resources are becoming unstable. Plans that looked solid are suddenly falling apart without explanation. They will blame stress, timing, other people, but the real cause is divine removal. God is cutting off what fueled their behavior. Do not be alarmed if you hear rumors of sudden losses, conflicts, or breakdowns among those who wronged you. These are not random misfortunes. They are signals. When someone builds success on manipulation, injustice, or cruelty, the foundation eventually collapses. And when it does, it collapses inward first: confusion, frustration, isolation, before it becomes visible to others. At the same time, you are being repositioned. Quietly. Intentionally. You may feel detached from spaces you once wanted desperately to belong to. You may feel less reactive, more observant, more discerning. This is growth. This is maturity earned through pain. God is preparing you for environments where your old reactions would no longer serve you. You are being refined for elevation, not survival. Pay attention to invitations that suddenly appear. Pay attention to ideas that feel aligned instead of forced. Pay attention to the sense of peace that arrives without explanation. These are confirmations. You are not behind. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared while others were being tested. Now hear this clearly: not everyone who hurt you will face the same consequence. Justice is precise. Each person will receive what corresponds to their intent, not just their action. Some will lose credibility. Some will lose access. Some will lose peace. Some will lose everything they tried to take from you. God does not copy consequences, He custom designs them. This is why you must resist comparison. Do not look around wondering why one seems untouched while another is unraveling. Timing is strategic. What looks like delay is often mercy, one last chance to change. But when that chance is rejected, consequence accelerates quickly and without warning. You may soon be approached with apologies that feel incomplete, explanations that sound rehearsed, or attempts to reconnect that carry hidden motives. Discernment is your shield now. Forgiveness does not require re-entry. Closure does not require conversation. God is protecting you from repeating cycles that already taught you their lesson. As this unfolds, your responsibility is simple but not easy. Remain aligned. Keep your integrity intact. Speak truth when required, but never from emotion. Let peace be your indicator. If something pulls you back into chaos, it is not meant to go with you into what comes next. And yes, what comes next will feel sudden. One moment, you will think you are still waiting. The next, you will realize the shift already happened. Momentum will replace stagnation. Clarity will replace confusion. And the very people who doubted you will struggle to understand how quickly everything turned around. If this message is anchoring you, stay with it. Let it steady you. Let it remind you that heaven does not rush, but it never arrives late. What is unfolding now is only the beginning layer. Because what is about to be revealed next is not just how they are affected, but how you are about to step into something that makes the entire ordeal finally make sense. Stay attentive now, because this is the phase where understanding replaces confusion, and that transition can feel unsettling before it feels empowering. What you are stepping into is not simply relief from past harm, it is a recalibration of identity. God is not only correcting what was done to you. He is redefining how you are seen, how you move, and what you are trusted with next. There was a version of you that learned how to survive pressure. That version absorbed disappointment, adjusted expectations, and learned when to stay quiet. That version was necessary, but it is not the one being carried forward. Heaven is closing the chapter on survival mode. What comes next requires authority, clarity, and presence. You cannot enter it carrying the weight of what others did wrong. This is why certain memories are resurfacing unexpectedly. Moments you thought you had buried. Conversations you never received closure from. This is not regression. It is resolution. God is allowing your mind and spirit to release what your heart has been holding without language. As you revisit these moments, you are not being asked to relive the pain, you are being shown that it no longer controls you. You may notice that your reactions are changing. Things that once triggered anger now feel distant. Situations that once demanded explanation no longer feel worth the energy. This is not numbness. This is authority settling in. When you no longer need validation, manipulation loses its power. When you no longer crave fairness from people, divine justice becomes enough. There is also a strengthening happening in your discernment. You are seeing patterns faster. You are recognizing intentions sooner. You are no longer confusing charisma with character. This is not suspicion, it is wisdom earned. God does not elevate those who are naive to danger. He elevates those who can recognize it without being consumed by it. Expect clarity in decisions that once felt impossible. Paths that were foggy are becoming obvious. The maybe is turning into a clear yes or a firm no. This decisiveness is part of your protection. Indecision kept you vulnerable before. Clarity now keeps you covered. You might feel a subtle grief for what could have been, if they had chosen differently, if circumstances had been fair, if honesty had prevailed sooner. Allow that grief its moment. It does not disqualify you. It completes you. Even heaven acknowledges loss. But do not mistake grief for regret. You did what you could with the truth you had at the time. Responsibility does not belong to you beyond that. At the same time, you may feel an unfamiliar confidence rising. Quiet, grounded, unshakable. This confidence does not need to announce itself. It does not argue. It does not chase. It simply is. This is the confidence that comes from alignment, not ego. And it will speak louder than any defense you could have made. Watch how people respond to this shift. Some will respect it immediately. Others will test it, hoping the old version of you will reappear. It will not. You are not hardening, you are stabilizing. You are not withdrawing, you are prioritizing. Anyone who benefits from confusion will feel threatened by clarity. Let them. There may be moments when you are tempted to explain your growth to those who misunderstood you. Resist that urge. Growth does not require a press release. Those who are meant to understand will recognize it without explanation. Those who are not will misinterpret it no matter how carefully you speak. God is also preparing you for restoration that feels disproportionate to the loss. This is intentional. Restoration is not always equal, it is often multiplied. What you receive next will not simply replace what was taken, it will exceed it in ways you could not have imagined while you were hurting. This is how heaven redeems time. You will soon notice that opportunities arrive with less resistance. That conversations flow without effort. That doors open without negotiation. This ease is not accidental. It is confirmation that you are moving in alignment. When struggle ends, flow begins. Still, remain grounded. Do not rush ahead emotionally before your environment fully changes. Let consistency prove what excitement promises. God is not asking you to sprint, He is asking you to walk steadily into what has been prepared. The pace matters because sustainability matters. And yes, there will be a moment soon, a single conversation, an unexpected message, a realization that lands quietly, where you understand why everything had to unfold this way. Not just for justice. Not just for growth. But for positioning. Stay present for that moment. Because what is about to be revealed next will connect every delay, every wound, every unanswered question into one unmistakable truth. And it will change how you see your future forever. Remain steady, because this is the stretch where momentum quietly replaces waiting, and many miss it because they are still looking for dramatic signs. What God is doing now is subtle but irreversible. The shift is already underway, even if your surroundings have not fully caught up yet. This is the in-between moment where faith is tested again, not through pain, but through patience with progress. You are stepping into a season where discernment matters more than urgency. Not everything that arrives quickly is meant to stay. Not every open door is your assignment. After what you endured, it is natural to want immediate payoff, instant validation, visible reward. But heaven is teaching you to recognize alignment over adrenaline. What is meant for you will not rush you or confuse you. It will feel steady, clean, and grounded. There is also a recalibration happening in how you relate to people. You are no longer available for emotional labor that drains you. You are no longer explaining your worth to those committed to misunderstanding you. This is not arrogance. This is stewardship. God does not elevate people who leak energy in every direction. He elevates those who know where to invest themselves wisely. You may notice that your circle is shrinking, but your peace is expanding. Fewer voices. clearer thoughts, stronger intuition. This is not loneliness, it is focus. Isolation at this stage is not punishment, it is preparation. Before public reward comes private clarity. Before visibility comes internal order. At the same time, those who wronged you are entering their own narrowing path. Options feel limited for them now. Conversations feel tense. Outcomes feel uncertain. They may try to regain control by rewriting history, justifying behavior, or subtly provoking you into reaction. Do not engage. Reaction feeds cycles. Detachment ends them. Understand this: consequences do not always look like collapse. Sometimes they look like stagnation. Being unable to move forward is often more uncomfortable than falling backward. And while they circle the same lessons, you are being guided beyond them. You may also experience moments of doubt, not about God, but about yourself. Old questions may whisper, "What if I misread everything? What if I'm expecting too much? What if nothing really changes?" These thoughts are not prophetic. They are residue. Residue from disappointment, from unmet expectations, from carrying hope longer than you should have had to. Acknowledge them, but do not follow them. God is not rebuilding you on uncertainty. He is building you on truth. And truth does not shout, it confirms itself through consistency. Look at how far you've come already. Look at what no longer controls you. Look at what you survived without becoming bitter. That alone is evidence that something divine has been shaping you all along. You are also being trained to receive differently. Blessings can feel unfamiliar after prolonged struggle. Ease can feel suspicious. Support can feel undeserved. When goodness begins to flow, do not block it out of habit. You are not stealing from anyone by receiving what God assigns to you. You paid for this season with endurance. Pay close attention to how your inner voice sounds now. Is it kinder? Calmer? More assured? That is not accidental. Heaven has been rewriting the way you speak to yourself, because the way you think will determine how far you go next. Self-doubt would sabotage what's coming. So it is being dismantled quietly, piece by piece. Soon, you will find yourself in rooms, literal or figurative, where your presence feels different. Where people listen when you speak. Where your insight carries weight. This will not be because you demanded respect, but because authority recognizes authority. Pain refined you. Integrity preserved you. And wisdom now precedes you. Still, stay humble. Humility keeps doors open longer than talent ever could. You are not being elevated to prove others wrong, you are being elevated to steward influence correctly. What you carry next will affect more than just you. That is why the process was thorough. You might feel anticipation building again, that quiet sense that something is about to happen. Trust that feeling, but do not cling to a specific outcome. God often exceeds expectations by arriving differently than imagined. Flexibility will allow you to receive more than rigidity ever could. And here is what matters most in this moment: do not look back to check who is watching. Forward movement requires forward focus. Some will notice your rise only after it's undeniable. Others will never acknowledge it at all. Neither response defines your success. Because very soon, sooner than you expect, one undeniable shift will occur. Something external will confirm everything internal. And when that happens, you will finally understand that this was never just about justice or restoration. It was about positioning you for something so precise, so intentional, that it could only arrive after everything else fell into place. Now receive this final understanding, because it completes what your spirit has sensed all along. What is arriving is not merely a breakthrough, it is a realignment of destiny. God is not just correcting events, He is correcting trajectory. The path ahead of you is different from what you imagined when you were still in pain, and that is why the delay was necessary. You were asking for relief, but heaven was preparing responsibility. Soon, something tangible will confirm this shift. It may arrive as recognition you did not pursue, an offer you did not chase, a conversation you did not initiate, or a door that opens without explanation. When it happens, it will feel calm, not chaotic. Clear, not dramatic. That is how you will know it is God. Divine movement does not need to convince, it simply aligns. You are stepping into a role that requires discernment more than defense, influence more than argument, presence more than proof. This is why your battles had to be handled by heaven and not by you. Had you fought them yourself, you might have won the argument, but lost the positioning. God protected your future by removing your need to react. What was done to you no longer defines you. In fact, it has become irrelevant to where you are going. The very people who once had power over your emotions, your reputation, or your access are losing relevance in your story. Not because they were defeated, but because they are no longer needed in the narrative. Growth often looks like outgrowing the context where pain occurred. You may notice that your desires are changing. What once felt important now feels unnecessary. What once felt urgent now feels optional. This is not loss of passion, it is refinement of purpose. God is narrowing your focus so your energy is not diluted. When purpose becomes clear, distractions lose their appeal. There will also be a moment of choice soon. Subtle but significant. You will be given an opportunity to step fully into the new or partially remain connected to the old. It may come disguised as comfort, familiarity, or unfinished business. Choose wisely. You cannot carry remnants of old cycles into new territory. Closure is sometimes proven by what you no longer revisit. Do not underestimate the authority you now carry. You have been trained through experience to recognize truth, to hold your ground, to remain steady under pressure. That training was costly, but it was intentional. God does not entrust influence to those who have not learned restraint. You have learned it well. As your life begins to reflect this internal shift, some will be inspired, some will be confused, and some will feel exposed simply by comparison. Let each reaction belong to its owner. You are not responsible for how others interpret your growth. Your responsibility is obedience, to walk forward without apology and without bitterness. There will be days ahead where joy feels unfamiliar because you lived so long in endurance. When that happens, pause. Breathe. Let joy settle without suspicion. Peace does not always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives quietly and waits to be welcomed. Remember this, God did not rescue you from everything, you were preserved through it. That means your testimony carries weight. Not because of what you lost, but because of what you refused to become. You did not harden. You did not compromise. You did not surrender your integrity for relief. And that is why what you receive next will be sustainable. Stay attentive to your intuition in the coming days. You will feel guided away from certain conversations, places, or people without needing logical explanation. Trust that guidance. Protection now operates through wisdom rather than resistance. You no longer need alarms, your discernment is enough. If you ever feel tempted to question whether all of this was worth it, look at who you are now compared to who you were when this began. Strength replaced desperation. Clarity replaced confusion. Authority replaced defensiveness. That transformation alone proves heaven's involvement. And yes, justice has already begun. Not as spectacle, but as separation. Not as revenge, but as consequence. What happens to others from this point forward is no longer your concern. Your assignment is expansion. So walk forward without fear. Speak without shrinking. Choose without guilt. Receive without apology. What God is unfolding in your life now will not need explanation, it will speak for itself. And when the final piece clicks into place, when you realize why you had to wait, why you had to endure, why you had to release control, you will understand something profound. This was never about what they did to you. It was about where God was taking you next. And what is coming after this will make even this chapter look small.